All right, let's talk about one of the most maddening things that can happen in the IELTS reading test: overthinking. You know what I'm talking about. It's that silent score killer that punishes you for doubting yourself. So let's figure out how to beat it. You know the feeling, right? You've scanned the text, you've found the proof, you've even underlined the exact words. You're thinking, yes, I got this. And then that little voice in your head pops up and whispers, but what if it's a trap? That's it. That moment of hesitation, that's overthinking. And let me tell you, it is probably costing you some serious points. But here's the good news. It is absolutely a habit you can break. And in this explainer, we are going to give you the exact strategy to shut that voice down for good. Okay, so first things first. If you're going to beat an enemy, you have to know exactly what you're up against. Let's define what overthinking actually is when it comes to the IELTS test. This is so important. We often try to dress up overthinking as something positive. We tell ourselves we're just being careful or thorough. But let's be honest with ourselves. In a timed test, it's not careful analysis. It's just anxiety running the show. It's not deep thinking. It's indecision that paralyzes you. It is basically self-sabotage. So, do any of these hit a little too close to home? Reading a sentence so many times the words just start to look like weird shapes? Changing a perfectly good answer at the last second? Or my favorite, seeing imaginary traps everywhere and turning a simple question into a huge philosophical debate? Yep, these are the classic symptoms. Spotting them is the first step to stopping them. And here is a fundamental truth you just have to accept. The IELTS reading test is not looking for the next great philosopher. It couldn't care less about your deep thoughts. What it does reward is your ability to find information and make a decision quickly. Your goal is to be a decisive reader, period. So, why does this test seem like it was designed to make us second-guess everything? Well, it kind of was. It's not just you. The battlefield itself is set up to create doubt. Let's take a look. Think about the texts they give you. They're always academic, they're formal, and the wording is incredibly precise. This has a psychological effect on you. It makes you think, okay, this sounds so official, there has to be a hidden meaning or a trick in here somewhere. But the truth? Most of the time there isn't. The text usually just means exactly what it says. And this is the real danger. When you walk in assuming every question is a trap waiting to spring, you become your own worst enemy. You literally invent complexity that isn't there, and you end up tricking yourself out of the right answer. Okay, so we've identified the enemy, we've surveyed the battlefields. Now it is time for a battle plan. Here are the rules of engagement you need to fight back. I want you to memorize this. This is the golden rule. The correct answers on this test are rarely some dramatic, complicated thing. They are usually direct, logical, and staring you right in the face in the text. Now notice, I said simpler, not easier. You still have to do the work to find them, but the logic behind them is way more straightforward than your brain wants you to believe. Let's apply this rule to those specific danger zones. For true/false/not given, if you can't put your finger on the exact sentence that proves it, it's not given. No arguments with yourself, done. For multiple choice, stop rereading the options a million times. Find the proof for one, circle it, and move on. For matching headings, you are looking for the gist of the paragraph, maybe a 70% understanding, not a word-for-word summary. And for sentence completion, if a word from the passage fits the gap, just write it down. Don't try to get fancy. Now, if you only remember one thing from this entire explainer, please let it be this. This is the game changer. This is your new mantra. Before you finalize any answer, ask yourself, can I point to the specific words in the text that prove this? If the answer is no, or well, kinda, then you're not analyzing anymore. You're making it up. You're overthinking. So, having the right tactics is huge, but it's only half the battle. You also have to adopt the right mindset. This is about retraining your brain to approach the test in a totally new way. Here's a weird little mindset shift that works wonders. Learn to embrace the fact that IELTS answers are usually, well, kind of boring. They're plain, they're academic, they're a little bit dull. If an answer choice seems really clever or dramatic, that's a red flag. It's probably a distractor designed to catch you. The correct answer is almost always the boring, academic-sounding one. We all know what happens when the clock starts ticking down, right? Your anxiety goes up and your brain just goes into overthinking overdrive. The only way to fix this is to be absolutely ruthless with your time. You need to decide faster, not think harder. And just remember the math. One impossible question is never worth the time it would take to get 5 easy ones right. So let's bring all of this together. What does this transformation actually look like in practice? How do you really become that decisive reader who walks out with a great score? This slide really breaks down the difference. Students who get stuck in that band 6 range tend to trust their gut feelings and their intuition. They think way too much and they hesitate. But the students who break into band 7 and 8, they trust only one thing: the evidence in the text. They think just enough to find it, and then they decide and move on. The difference isn't about being smarter. It's about having mental discipline. It's a huge irony, isn't it? We overthink because we're trying so hard to be careful, but it has the exact opposite effect. We end up missing the obvious answer that's right there. We change right answers to wrong ones. Overthinking is just being careless, but in slow motion. So here it is, your new process. A simple 4-step mantra for every single question you face. Number 1, read the question. Number 2, locate the evidence. Number 3, decide based only on that evidence. And number 4, the most crucial step, move on. No second guessing, no looking back. And that's really the big takeaway here. Your job isn't to be clever and outsmart the person who wrote the test. Your job is simply to not outsmart yourself. Read what's there, trust the evidence, and get out of your own way. Stop being your own worst enemy, and your score will absolutely thank you for it.